now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What is up, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Dini. We have a very special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. Well, you know what? This particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes. And for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know, and I always appreciate that. All right, before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that, don't lose sight. Today, we tap into the frequency that isn't just heard, it's felt. A frequency driven by bold hearts, muddy boots, and the wind-whipped courage of a man who chooses nature as his sanctuary and stories as his calling. Chris Watson is not just a podcast host. He's a compass guiding us through the peaks and the valleys of human grit. See, guys, most folks choose and chase comfort, but Chris, he pursues the unknown, embraces wild places, and return with tales that awaken something primal in all of us. So if you've been stuck in a routine, if your soul's been begging for something real, this episode is your call to adventure. Let it echo. Let it pull you in. And remember, this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. Vigilantes Radio Live. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go.
To those who say it can't be done, to those bound by time or circumstance, to the aged, the infirm, those who feel it's just too late. From backyard explorations to grand expeditions, from jungle treks to ocean wrecks, from desert sands to polar quests, from ancient caves to Atlantic waves, from stargazing nights to Earth's breathtaking sights. The simple wonders of our natural world. Every story is a testament to the human spirit, a burning desire for adventure, for exploration, and for your inspiration. They prove that adventure really is a state of mind. This is your call to adventure.
Welcome to the Adventure Diaries.
All right. That was the trailer to the Adventure Diaries. My name is Deanie, and you're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these awesome human beings. The ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's a certified paddle sports instructor, a passionate advocate for conservation, and the voice behind one of the most authentic storytelling podcasts in the game right now, the Adventure Diaries. Broadcasting from the breathtaking wilds of Scotland, he brings global explorers, nature lovers, and fearless adventurers into your headphones. With every episode, he ignites a spark that pushes listeners to reconnect with the earth and themselves. He's not just inspiring movement, he's leading a revolution through story. And with that, let's say a welcome, friend, to Chris Watson. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Deanie. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. How are you?
I'm pretty good this morning. It is afternoon for you, and it is morning for me. Yeah, we're getting into the afternoon in about an hour or so, but so far so good, man. How's things going?
It's great, yeah. So it's coming up to, well, it's almost early evening actually here, so, and the sun is shining, which is great. So yeah, happy days. Ready for the weekend, ready for some adventure.
Indeed. What's on the plate for this weekend?
So some gorge walking, actually. So some hiking and some gorge climbing and hiking. So yeah, looking forward to that on Sunday.
Nice. So before we get too deep, what's been sitting heavy or glowing bright on your heart and mind lately?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, season 4 of the podcast, the Adventure Diaries Podcast, just launched yesterday, and that's particularly, I'm particularly proud of that because of all the guests we've had so far have been incredible. But this collection of guests, there are some fantastic people, some fantastic humans on that, and I'm really proud of the very first episode that went live yesterday. So yeah, I don't always fanboy about the guests, but it was a particularly prominent guest that had very, very good insights and really good actionable insights as well, and I listened back to it after it went live, which I don't always do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's got me fired up for the weekend, which is great. Yeah.
Nice. And congratulations, man, season 4. Yeah, man. I've seen podcasts come and go, man. I've been at this for 11 years now, and had friends start podcasts and they fizzle out, So yeah, man, congratulations, sticking with it, and yeah, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I love it. I've said before, it's entertainment but educational for me as well. So I'm a consumer. These are people that I've listened to and admired for many a year, and getting to have these intimate conversations and learn from them and inspire others at the same time, it's just so rewarding. I just can't see myself giving it up. I get so much from it. It's great.
Indeed. So let's do a legacy check-in. What do you believe is your purpose right now in this season of your life?
To live more intentionally, to love life a little more intentionally, and to inspire my young daughter to do that. I think it's taken me a long time to be comfortable in my own self and explore the passions that really fire me up, and in doing so I have a very small human by my side who gets to see, feel and witness all of that, and kind of really along for that ride as well. So it's just, it just lights me up. I have a young daughter, she's almost 10, she's very adventurous, she loves all this type of stuff, and to share that with her at such a formative part of her life and her journey, it just fills me with pride and gratitude.
I love it. So let's rewind the clock. Do you remember your very first adventure that sparked the itch?
Oh yeah, I mean back when I was a kid, we stayed in a very urban setting, so we stayed in welfare housing. I think would probably resonate with your audience. So we didn't have a lot at that time, but managing to escape to the woods, which weren't too far, in the river, just building little huts and dens, that at a very young age. And then as I got a little bit older, I was fortunate enough to be taken on some fishing trips up to the Scottish Highlands, and just being out in those big expansive spaces with the mountains and the water, it's fantastic. And I lost that for so long, And then, with the Adventure Diaries and everything that we're doing now, reigniting and rediscovering a lot of that, I kicked myself that I left it for so long. But yeah, I just think back to childhood, and hopefully my little daughter, when she's older, she can, if someone asks her that question, Dini, she can probably recount some of the adventures that we're having right now.
Nice. Are you familiar with the show Lost?
I am, yes. Yeah.
So I've been watching that lately, and man, if I was to be shipwrecked or plane crash on an island, I would definitely want to have you in my company, based on your skills and just love for nature and able to find your way in nature.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny you should say that, because I am now acquainted with some really cool people who run those types of adventures, who set up these kind of survival situations as well, to get to test yourself. So it's something that's on my mind. I want to do in the next year or two, to be thrown in and thrust into that kind of semi-hostile environment and seeing how well you survive. For a few days. Yeah.
So back to those first adventure days. What were you chasing then?
I mean, we had a lot of kind of home troubles and strife, and I think for me it was an escapism thing, really. But it was stuff that when I was a kid, like Rambo and Karate Kid and the Goonies and Indiana Jones, all those types of movies where, like, when I was in my formative years and going away into the woods and pretending to be all these characters, was just complete escapism. It was, and we would never allow it these days, but back in the day, for some reason, I managed to have the Rambo knife with a compass on top of it. It was screwed open, and you had the bandages and the matches and things like that inside it. And we used to go away into the woods and cut things down, and then repair them and create a little kind of adventures. It was a little bit crazy, but I think back now, it was fantastic.
Yeah. How has that motivation evolved since?
That is a good question. The motivation now is, maybe escapism for different reasons then, but I wouldn't say it's escapism now. It's more about intentionally living that life that is more adventurous, that sparks my curiosity. So whilst that was all fun and great as a kid, I think now I'm following my curiosities. I consume things like National Geographic. I'm quite a passionate advocate for conservation in certain areas, and I've got just fascinations with different parts of the globe, different geographies and cultures and stuff, and including wildlife and all the natural world. And now having the opportunity to actively pursue that with a passion, and now to talk about it and document it without any fear of repercussion, because I was always a little bit worried about that. But just having I mean this in the nicest possible way, I just don't care really what others have to say or think about it. I just love doing it, and it is great that people are enjoying it and are along for the ride and want to be on the podcast. But it entertains me, and it scratches my itch for learning and exploring, and that's and now I get existential crises that I won't have enough time to do all the things I want to do, so it comes with its own baggage.
Yeah. So did you always document your adventures?
Not always. I mean, nobody's ever asked me that before. That I used to write a lot when I was younger, and write in diaries and things like that. And I don't have a lot of them because I think I've always been creative, because I used to draw and sketch quite a lot. So sometimes when I'd go away, I would sit and sketch in a notepad and things, and that was a degree of documenting probably well before technology took its grip. But I've never really been one for social media or sharing. I've always been a quite introverted person, and to evolve into what I'm doing now has been quite quite odd when I look at it, because I've never seen myself as that type of person, but you know, for however, it has evolved to the point I'm documenting it, and I'm loving documenting it, because hopefully it's something in time that people can look back and still get some sort of education and entertainment from.
Indeed. You know what, Chris? I think I'm kind of the same way. I am an introvert. My profession, though, allows me to be an extrovert, though, because I kind of float in, you know, between both. But I had a close friend just looking through my photo gallery. He was like, dude, why don't you ever post this stuff? And I was like, well, you know, I'm awesome in real life. I have real life adventures. I go on hikes. I'm on stage in front of, you know, thousands of people. He's like, dude, you got to show this stuff. I was like, well, if I'm too busy showing things, I miss the moments.
Well, exactly. And I mean, I take so many photos, and I don't post anywhere near as many as I would like. So I like to capture it, but I also like to keep some of it private, and I also like to try and not live the life through the camera, if that makes sense. So I don't want to, if I'm out on a hike, or more so kayaking, I spend a lot more time on the water than I do walking in the hills, and I always want to document that, but I also try to find the balance of not over documenting it and pissing people off or myself, and just making sure you're living in the moment. So it's difficult. We're in such a consumption technology, photo snappy environment these days, but I like to look back at it in my own quiet time as well. If I'm reading a book in bed at night, I'll sometimes put it down, pick up my phone, and then scan through my photos from being on a paddling adventure or something, and then it just reignites me to write, what next? When am I going on the next adventure or trip?
Yes.
And, so it's self-serving, but in a good way.
Yeah. So I'm sure you're asked this question a lot. Why did you start the Adventure Diaries podcast?
Yeah, I had the idea for a long time, and part of the genesis for it was in my day job, so I still very much work in the corporate world, and after the pandemic, I used to travel more a lot. I still travel a lot today, but I travelled significantly more before the pandemic, and when that hit the world and we were stuck at home on Zoom calls and Microsoft Teams, I was having 12-hour days just talking to people at my day job, and it was very overwhelming and quite, you know, stressful. And then I thought, well, if I could somehow sit and have a conversation like this with someone that has, you know, that's in the same headspace and that pursues the same passions I have, and I could learn from it, rather than having an IT conversation, I could have an adventure conversation at night. And that's kind of that, you know, all the books I used to read when I was travelling, all the National Geographics when I was sitting in the airport, I thought, well, I'm not travelling anywhere, so, you know, we could maybe start doing this sitting at home. And it took years before I actually took the jump and set it up, because it was way after the pandemic. We've only been going since November 2023, so but that was it, and it kind of evolved. The purpose of it isn't it's to spread a message. I want to put the message out there that people can live more intentionally, live more adventurously, and even in the rat race you can still find time to do epic stuff, even at the weekend, even if it's after the working day. If you live more with more intent, find the time to plot things out, listen to a good adventure story, get inspiration, and then bring a friend on that journey, bring a family member, do it as a group, do it as a solo hike or whatever, and then also the way of paying it forward to those individuals or to worthy causes, trying to bring all that together into a format that could serve me and by proxy serve others that listen, is really what it's all about. And I'm kind of really proud to say that it is actually doing that, because I get messages and screenshots and DMs from people that are taking the advice and doing those adventures and having lots more connection with nature and with other humans in your life.
Yeah, was that a scary first step?
Oh yeah. I mean, because even in a way that you've played my trailer just as we joined, and I'm listening back to the trailer and I cringe. I'm like, oh, I need to update that trailer, because it's evolved so much in the course of 4 seasons, which has only been a year and a half. My style in terms of how I interview and the types of questions that I ask has evolved significantly in such a short space of time, and I'm more confident in it. I would like to think, but it's all, yeah. I wouldn't change it, and I'm not going to take any of that stuff down. If people want to go back and look at them at the very first podcast versus the one that went live yesterday, you would see a remarkable difference, I think. But it's still fun, and I think that shows the others that you can start even when you're not ready, and just take the plunge and learn as you go. Because I'm still figuring stuff out as we go.
Indeed. That's the one thing, Chris, about, evolution and evolving as you go along. The more you do it, the more experience you gain. Like I said, I've been doing this for 11 years now, and one of the things I get all the time, and I don't know if you noticed, but the graphics have significantly changed from when I first started. When I first started, it was more like a scratch. It was awful. I'm just going to put it that way. And I have previous guests say, hey, could you redo my graphics to this new cool look you have? Like, well, not really. I don't want to go back 7 years ago and redo the graphics, because I don't know, I'm like 4,000 interviews in now. It's a lot of work to do. And I want to show that evolution, that you can start at any point and evolve as you go. You don't have to be perfect, starting out.
And people, and that's great to hear. The fact that you're still doing that 11 years later, it shows that you're passionate about it. And if you're honest, everyone makes mistakes and things are never perfect. But the fact that you're willing to put yourself out there, it says a lot more about the people that won't. And for those that may be on the sidelines that scoff and laugh or troll or whatever, because I'm getting a little bit of that from time to time now, like people picking up on certain things, and it just comes with the territory. You can never please everyone, but the vast majority are really supportive. And I've made some crazy mistakes with, like you say about artwork. I've posted things with spelling mistakes that I haven't noticed, because I think I'm maybe get a little bit of ADHD or dyslexia, fighting against each other, and then people point it out, and I'm like, and I used to react to it, but now I'm just like, yeah, okay.
yeah, because real life is happening at the same time too. We have other responsibilities and family and all this, and I get that too, man. I misspell things still now. Sometimes I even forget to hit record.
I've been there. I mean, I was on a podcast not that long ago, and I shared a story on that, which I happily don't mind sharing now. When I tried to register the domain for adventurediaries.com, I registered adventurediaries.com and didn't realise until I was halfway through. I had purchased it, and then I was halfway through trying to set up the site and deploy, and I realised that it was Adventure Diaries and not Adventure Diaries, and I thought, I need to reverse that transaction. So that worked out well eventually, but yeah, we all make mistakes, as long as we can laugh about them and don't take life too seriously.
Definitely. I had one guy, he messaged me. He said, hey, did you read the comments, what they were saying? I was like, no. He's like, why not? He's like, you have people hating. And I said, I have haters? I said, I wouldn't know. Oh my gosh, I'm too busy working on the show and, building these things to even notice the negative energy. I said, I like to keep it that way. But if you feel like, continue to report negative comments, go ahead. But I have work to do, man. So you've interviewed explorers, outdoor addicts alike. What's a story that completely shook or redefined your own perspective on life?
Oh, that's a great question. I interviewed a chap called Terry Virts. And Terry Virts, for those that don't know, was a commander-in-chief on the International Space Station. So Terry's one of the few that spent a couple of 100 days, I think it was, or something, in space. So he released a documentary on National Geographic called A View from Above, and it captured his time in space, but the photographs that he took from space, and it put some things into real perspective. When he was up there looking down on, you know, the world, he could see the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the bombs and stuff going off, and then he could see as the world was, you know, as he was spinning around the world, he could see, from the space station, he could see like the borders between like Pakistan and such, and India, and just all these things that, you know, they're so significant, but the grand scheme of things, they're so small. And it started to put life and things into perspective when you seen it from that view. And there was a few other things in that conversation. I'm doing it a little bit to injustice, but it really opened my eyes and ears to a lot of things, not just like conflict, but, you know, we only get one shot at this life. We're only on this planet for a very, very small nanosecond in the grand scheme of things. We need to live more intentionally, find ways to work together, to live together, to be on the same sides, and, you know, go after things that you think, you know, things that you want to pursue. Like me doing the podcast, I know that's a very small thing, but he said when he does talks now, particularly to kids, he says, don't tell yourself no, and it's a mantra that's always stuck with me. He always says, don't tell yourself no, because he wanted to be an astronaut when he was, and they're like, well, that's never going to happen. And then he became an astronaut. He was also a Top Gun fighter, so he was like the equivalent of like Maverick, if you think of like Top Gun. So he used to fly F-16s and stuff, and then he was a fighter pilot, then got into NASA, and he spent all this time in space, captured all this beauty from space. You know, it turned into a National Geographic documentary, a book with a lot of high-profile photographs. And yeah, we're all in this place. We're all on this planet for no time at all. We shouldn't have time for bickering and fighting, and let's lift each other up, live more intentionally, live more adventurously, and just enjoy things. I mean, because what's it all for? You know, it's, yeah. So that, I mean, that's a conversation. If anyone does like what they're hearing today and wants to hear a little bit more, go to the Adventure Diaries podcast and look for the episode with Terry Virts, the NASA astronaut. That's pretty epic.
Nice. And I really enjoy your format. You balance solo reflection with community building. How do you decide when to go inward and when to reach outward?
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, it's a good question. I just kind of go with where this kind of story kind of takes us, really. So in terms of like, I've got an idea on the guests and the story and the narratives that we want to bring to life, and I've got a format that I try and stick to try and tease out the most compelling points and such. But it's a case by case basis, really. We just kind of see what comes from each of those episodes, and there's a lot of the things that have been recommended from guests that I've managed to go and do personally and have those experiences, and some of which I've shared, some of which I've kept to myself. So I've kept that kind of inward and not really shared that, because I don't want to over document and overshare. A lot of the time I want to really live the experiences, but yeah, it's a fine balance. Yeah, it's just on a case by case basis.
Yeah. Call to adventure is such a dope thing. What's the most powerful call you've ever received, and how did you answer it?
Yeah, so I had a lady, Cathy O'Dowd, and she was like one of the first, or I think she was the first South African woman to summit Everest, certainly from both sides. And while that's a grand adventure and not everyone has the the resources to do that necessarily. So the call to adventure that Kathy gave to me was to try and bridge something a little bit more local and personal. And she said to me, go to an indoor climbing gym with your little daughter, find a bouldering wall, and then take it from there, and then build that connection. And if you like that, then you can step that up and start to go on the journey of climbing outside. It's something so basic that she said, and it stuck with me because I was looking for a new sport or something to do with my daughter, and then we went and signed up to an indoor climbing gym, and we still go regularly. So now my little daughter and I do bouldering and climbing indoors. And that call to adventure, as obvious as it seems, I had never really thought about doing it because it wasn't a sport or an activity that was ever really on my radar. And then, a couple of weeks later, we're now fully fledged members. Didn't realise there was such a big community. And yeah, it's just, and this is coming from someone that's climbed Everest, and now she's given me the idea to go and do stuff more locally with my daughter, and we're now members of that climbing gym. So it's got something for everyone. It's great.
What's next for Chris Watson and the Adventure Diaries? Any new terrains you're looking to conquer, mentally, spiritually, or physically?
Well, pleased to say that we have just won a People's Choice Award for the Best Outdoor Podcast by the Outdoor Media Summit in the USA. So I will be visiting Colorado later this year for the awards, but also for a kind of conference with like-minded people in the industry, and that is just opening doors and connections and the network, and through all of that, I'm hoping that leads to more friendships and more adventures. So, and actually, 2 weeks today, I'm going on my second adventure that I've run as part of the Adventure Diaries, a group adventure, and that will be kayaking and wild camping on the west coast of Scotland. So this will be the second year that we have done that with a group of friends, and we are very excited for that. So there's lots of good things coming from the Adventure Diaries, and there's a lot of good things to come in the future.
Nice, man, and congratulations on the award. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. We're really stoked. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So now we could say, award-winning podcast host and award-winning podcast.
Yeah.
Incredible, man. Before we wrap, man, what's one powerful thought or action you want to leave listeners today?
Yeah, if you can plant that seed of adventure in anyone, whether it's a child, a loved one, a family friend, an old acquaintance, then please do it. Pick up the phone, send a message, text message, WhatsApp, whatever it is. Pick a date with one of those individuals, someone that you want to reconnect with, and take them on a hike. Just simple, don't overcomplicate it. Pick a date, pick a person, and go and do it.
Indeed. And where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and check out episodes of the Adventure Diaries podcast?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Denise. So adventurediaries.com. You go there, you'll get all the links to the show, but we are on Apple Podcast, Spotify. If you just search Adventure Diaries and you can search by my name as well, Adventure Diaries by Chris Watson. We're also on Instagram as well, so Adventure Diaries __ or search Adventure Diaries by Chris Watson, and you'll see some Scottish guy sitting in a kayak probably somewhere, or you'll see the black background logo. But yeah, adventurediaries.com. Thank you.
All right. And listeners, just in case you didn't get those links, no worries. I will have them in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click the links. I made it so simple. That was a journey worth every step, from storytelling to conservation to soul searching and sea kayaking. Chris Watson reminded us that adventure doesn't just happen in faraway lands. It begins with curiosity and courage. So be sure to subscribe to the award-winning podcast, the Adventure Diaries Podcast, and follow Chris Watson and dig into those stories waiting to push you out the door and into something extraordinary. Don't forget to subscribe to Vigilantes Radio Live, leave a rating, and support our mission. Share this episode with a fellow adventurer, and as always, stay brave, stay bold, and keep tuning in into the frequency of the fearless. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Dini. Have a great weekend. A pleasure.
You too. Take care.
Peace to all. My name is Dini, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.